Hey everyone, welcome back to Painted Studio. Maury Curtis Dunbar here, excuse me. Swallowed wrong. Take a sip of tea. And I'm here, back again, and we're gonna work on another cutout. Now, if you watched me late last night, I'm gonna flip this up just because it's cutting off the top of my head. You saw me around 7 o'clock last night do a Dollar Tree trip. So I'm gonna pull over my bag here. Hang on just a sec, because I can't reach it. I am still right here. Me and my short arms. So I bought several cutouts last night. Now this one got a little smashed in my car, but fortunately it broke in a way that I can easily fix it. So clearly this one's not gonna be stained, but this one says Merry and Bright, or I'll reverse it so that you all can see what I'm saying. Merry and Bright. We've done this before. This piece broke off, so I'm going to take a little wood glue after we get off, and I will re-bond all of that because I threw these into my car, and so the breaking is my fault and nobody else's. Oh, Heather, hey, sweetheart, nice to see you. Okay, this says Peace on Earth. Again, dollar store. I bought several of these little houses. So we're gonna do another one. Hey Sharon, nice to see you here. We picked up a couple of these little Christmas tree. I don't know what the hell they are. They're little holders for something. I don't know if we put a candle in them. I don't know what. We're just gonna enjoy them. We'll figure it out later. And then I got a couple of these particle board piece. So you can see it piece. And hey, Sylvia, nice to be here. Thank you for popping in. So we have a little bit of a peace sign we're going to work on later, but I think we're going to start with a house. I promised everybody who was watching earlier that I would do a brown version. Sorry, I keep dropping things. I'm having a very clumsy Maury moment. Okay, so I promised everybody who saw me do this one earlier that I would do a brown version of it. This is grays and silvers, so we're gonna go with browns and golds. And we're gonna go, like we did with the last one, from beginning to end. Now I'm gonna flip this down. Hey, thank you for the sprinkle, Heather, I appreciate it. So we're gonna pull this back so you can see me, and then we're gonna zoom in just a little bit so you can see a little better. So the first thing, of course, I want to do is take off the cord because I take these off whenever I can. And again, I got this at Dollar Tree. I have big cutouts here. We have big houses, big ornaments, big snowmen and wreaths and stuff like that, but this is a cute little one, so I thought we'd play with some of the little ones, and then next week we'll come in to do some of the bigger ones. Now I'm just trying to pull this apart, and of course this is going to be the one that doesn't want to unknot easily, because all of the other ones that I did all last week untied like in a heartbeat. So I'm sorry you guys get to watch me pull this knot apart. I hate when I can't get it apart easily. And my fingernails do not help me in this one. They're a little too blunt. I need to be able to like really grab on them. There we go. It's starting to loosen. Thanks to the scissors, it's starting to loosen up. Look, I can take things off without cutting them apart. What a novel experience for me. Usually I get frustrated and like say, to hell with it. Cut the string, but I really want to not do that because I want to keep those. Okay, so now we have this all completely blank. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn this over, and I've got a couple colors that I'm going to test. So we're using our Simone water-based stain. I have chocolate, I have American walnut, and I have cherry. Now, I'm pretty sure already that I know the cherry's going to be redder than I want to use for this, but we're going to do a little tester on this. And you can buy some on water-based stains at paintedstudio.com. We have all the colors I'm showing you. So I'm just doing a little dip here into the cap, and we're going to do a little brush test on the back. Stick my brush a little further into the container. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm going to brush it on, and then grab some cheesecloth and blot it back. Hang on a sec, my cheesecloth is out of my reach again. Okay, here we go. I have a big table and short arms, so things get out of my reach. All right, so that's the cherry, and we're gonna wipe it back. That is a very red stain. This is gonna be the no, this is the American walnut. And I'm just gonna test all of these colors to see which one is the one I like the best. I'm not paying attention to what brush I use or anything else. I just need to put some stain on here. Okay, this is the American walnut. That's pretty. That's a nice deep brown. And then let's get the chocolate tested. That's very, very dark, and I think that's, I kind of knew that I might want to go with the American walnut, but I really wanted to test it on the wood to see how it stains. Hey, Lori, so you can see here we have our cherry, which is very red, and it's a great color, but it's not what I had in mind. The American walnut, which is our mid-tone, slightly golden brown, and then chocolate, which is a very, very dark brown. So having tested all the colors, I now know that the color I really want to use is the American walnut. So I'm going to get my other brushes out of the way and put them in the direction to go and get them cleaned. And we're going to use this brush and this cup with a little stain. Now, Saman water-based size, for those who are not familiar, has no binder in it, which is very cool for staining wood, because what that means is that there's no acrylic or anything in here like some of the water-based stains you might be familiar with, so that as I brush it, even if I brush it in a bad direction and get some funny marks, this re-wets itself and it will dissolve it. Now, this is going to take a while, so if you're not going to be patient watching me, this is not going to be the one for you to be watching. I am going to be brushing my stain on carefully in the lines, because I only want to stain the part that I want to keep exposed. So I'm brushing this on, and I'm being generous with it. It's a windy day outside, and we have outdoor dining outside our door. And the wind's blowing things over, like in a big way. Blowing over the chains that keep things organized. It's a mess out there. It's a windy day. All right, so as you can see, I'm even brushing around the little ornament details. Although if I do get a little paint stain on there, it's not going to be a crisis. I'm trying not to overlap my colors. Now, truly, if I wanted to, I could stain this whole thing and then just paint over it, but that's not how I want to work it. I kind of really like playing with this way and painting into things with the stain. And you do have to keep turning things, because otherwise you'll find you've missed spots. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with a piece of cheesecloth and blot. I'm not going to rub because I don't want it to smear everywhere. There's a little spot right there. There might be something on that wood that's not taking the stain right there. That happens. So I'm really just trying to blot up any excess wet stain. And the only place I'm rubbing is when I'm rubbing in the areas that already have stain applied, because I don't want to get my stain over there if I can help it. This is going to be very pretty. This is going to be much darker background than the other ones, but you can see how nicely it's taking. And you're just seeing a little hint of the wood grain. Where those dots are, that is just spots where there obviously something got on the wood and it's not absorbing stain. Oh, Joy, that's so sweet of you to say you could watch me for hours. I can't watch me for hours. I get bored of me in about 15 minutes. Even when I do my own editing, I'm like, okay, I'm tired of listening to myself. So we're just gonna come up and cut around all the shapes that I don't want stained. And these little shapes right here that I'm cutting around, they're like little holiday lights. And I don't have to worry about having any seaming from not applying the stain uniformly 100% over the whole surface. And that's because Simone stain re-wets itself. So when I go back and come in over a spot that I've already stained, it's re-wetted, and then I can pounce on it with the cheesecloth and it just blends it in perfectly. You don't have any lap lines. Why I don't worry about me going against the grain like this, because normally that's not something I want to do. I'm going to just come back in and pull it back. Now, it does not show well on camera, but I am actually getting some really nice subtle wood grain here. So here I've got a seam line, and I can just come back in with more wet stain. And then when I blot it back, there will not be a seam. You won't have any funny marks from it, no weirdly darker spots, no lap lines, nothing. Because the re-wetting of the stain just allows it to blend really nicely. And there we go, no steam. I love how that works. I really do. Now, because there is no binder in here, however, before we do anything else, when we're done with all of this, I have to seal it. Because anything else that I put on over it will re-wet the stain. It could bleed into other materials. You can get some funky looking stuff. You won't have a nice look. Okay. I know we talked about this the other day, but when you're doing fine painting, and I know everybody looks at me and like, you're using such a big brush, but I can get a very fine tip on some of these bigger brushes and get around stuff with no problem. So one thing to remember is not to choke up on your brush, which means don't hold it down here, because it looks like you should have more control, but you don't. So be very, very, very loose in your grip if you can be. Try not to choke on your brush, because that only actually creates more problems. So I love this. I love how this looks. I love how this soaks into the wood. You know, we all forget about stain because we're so used to painting, but you can create wonderful depth by using stain and paints in different ways on a single piece. It's just so pretty. Okay, we're almost finished with the bottom half here, and we just have to go up there. And then I will set this aside and let it dry up so that we can top coat it and go on to the next step. It might actually be, this will have dried enough that I can top coat it while we're on the live. Okay. And the cool thing is here too, if I feel like I got too much stain there and it's too dark, watch. I'm gonna come in with some wet stain, let it re-wet the stain that was under it, and now I can pull back. And yeah, I smeared there, it won't hurt anything. So I'm just trying to lighten up the few places. It got a little dark there and it got a little dark here because I was wiping back that side. So I'm gonna blot and then give it a little scrub back. And that instantly lightened it. And I can now see more detail under the wood instead of just dark stain. So I did get a little there, that's not a big deal. I will seal that up with some top coat and then it'll be ready to be painted over or whatever I'm going to do with it later. Now, I just noticed a big difference in this house and the last one, and this is interesting. So let me show you, because I couldn't have done that. I was trying to figure out why that happened. So on this cutout, these 3 window frames are raised, but the door is recessed and has the burned out design. On this one, these windows are raised. This window is raised and the door frame is raised, and the wreath is raised, but these windows are just burned out. I'm like, that's interesting. I don't know if it was a different batch and they were doing them different ways. Let's see what the other 2 do. Okay. The other ones all have the burned out on the doors and the windows are all raised. How interesting. Totally different little bit of design there. So this is a different lot, clearly. And clean up the stain that I just accidentally knocked over. And we're actually using the chocolate stain. I thought I'd grab, I'm like looking at the color going, gosh, that's dark, gosh, that's dark, gosh, that's dark. So I actually chose the chocolate stain, not the American walnut. So we're going really dark. You know, this is what happens. If I get distracted, something catches my attention, all of a sudden, we're not doing exactly what I thought we were going to do, but I really like the chocolate. It's really pretty on here. Like this isn't a warm brown. It's got a little bit of blue to it. What am I talking about? What's going on? Why is this dark? I'm working all those thoughts out in my head and not saying them out loud while I figure it out. So now I'm saying it out loud. Yes, I grabbed the wrong stain. But that's okay, because we got a really pretty color out of this. Okay, we'll take this, come back in here. So you can see I'm definitely rubbing it back because the stain is dark and I want to make sure I see wood grain. I am so proud of myself when I do dumb things. Which means I'm proud of myself a lot. All right, let's get this in here. Now, if you want to use this stain and then create directly over it, I always suggest adding a little bit of clear acrylic medium. We have products here that I always add to it. I usually choose our, I'm trying to remember the name of it now. All of a sudden I'm drawing a mental blank on my own stuff here. It is called Gloss Medium. Oh geez, now I am really drawing a blank because I've been thinking about the Saman stain. All I can come up with is Saman in my head, and that's not it. Vivid Acrylics, Gloss Medium. So if you go on our site, you'll see that in several sizes. It can be used with any pigment that works with water-based products. You can add our Saman stain to it and it becomes a sealing stain as opposed to a re-wettable stain. And they're great products. I mean, just wonderful. Blot. And let's give a little harder white back in. All right. And when you change the angles, always change the angles of the project you're working on because you will find the skipped spots, and there are always skipped spots when you do stuff like this that has more than one layer, more than one level. So you've just got to remember to go back in, check your missed spots. In here, get that missed spot. Okay. And the nice thing about this stain is it does actually wash off of your hands surprisingly easily. Usually I wash my hands and then later that day I've taken a shower, and by the time I'm done with my shower, yeah, it's gone. However, if you are like me and have some acrylic on your nails, it will stain the acrylics. I'll take off this nail polish over the weekend and I'll have brown acrylic fingertips. Not that I care, because I know why they're brown. So just fair warning on the things that might surprise you with that do get stained when you're doing stuff like that. Let's get this in. Alrighty. Might need a fresh piece of cheesecloth. There we go. I knew the other one wasn't absorbing very much anymore, so back in. Deal with it. It's just, I'm just seeing what comes off when I come back in again. And I can get more off because it's still a little damp. So I can wipe back onto the heavy spots and expose a little more grain. That's a nice thing to know. Because usually I've done a better job of applying in some spots and don't have to find that out. Alrighty, this is the last little bit that I have to do. Alright, so now you can see we've stained it, and if I can get it, I don't think we're going to get it good enough. Let's see if I can get some light on there. I'm not sure if you can see any of the grain in here, but it's very subtle compared to our other one where we used the gray, the Castle Stone color. Let me grab that. The Castle Stone color showed our grain a lot brighter. So the chocolate is deeper. It's already, you know, it's kind of already looking a little like a gingerbread house, so we're going to have some fun with this. I mean, this is so cute. I love that. All right, so I'm going to flip up, and I'm going to go through your questions because really I can't do another thing on this until it's dried a little so I can top coat it and seal it so that I can then do other paints and foils over it like we did the last one. Let me see what we got going here. It's so nice of all of you to come in and watch with me. I appreciate it. You need to craft buddy that you can craft with. All right, Joy, check Dollar Tree online. See if you got them. I'm also going to look into bringing those little houses in by the case. So if you're interested, I can do that. I just have to, you know, I kind of got to see what the deal is. So I'll look up stuff too. So if those of you who are interested in these little houses, let me know. Send me a PM. Don't comment here. Send us a message in Messenger telling me whether or not you're actually interested in these, because if I don't get enough interest, I'm not going to bring them in. But if you all are really interested, send me a message, I'll know, and then I'll bring them in. Oh, Joy's getting a bunch of paints for her birthday. I hope so. Oh, Denise, thank you. Sharon drives 50 miles to go to a Dollar Tree. Wow. God love you. Yes, Joy, try Dollar Tree because that's where I got these. These are Dollar Trees. And if you watched my live yesterday where I did the tour through Dollar Tree and Joann did not have a lot, but Dollar Tree had tons. Okay. Okay. Oh, Joy's filling her cart with goodies from the Dollar Tree. Yes, Joy, this stain color is beautiful. Hey, Desiree. Oh, that's so cute. Joy wants to do the little houses like a Whoville Christmas. I thought that's a great idea. So I've got, let's see, I've got one that I finished, one that I started, and two more in back. So they may be part of my window display come December, right? Or come November when we have to change out of Halloween and move into Christmas. So who knows? All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming in. Again, we ask you to sprinkle the video. If you're not sure what the sprinkle is, there is a little arrow right down here. That means you pass it on to other groups. We appreciate we appreciate the sprinkles, anything you can do. It helps us grow our group, which means then we have a bigger reach and we can help and share more fun stuff with more people. And we're going to be doing contests again at the end of this month. So definitely want to get the sprinkles in. More people playing, the better contests are. All right, everybody, have a wonderful Saturday. I will see you all. Tomorrow and Monday are my days off. Gives me 2 days to get the stain off my fingers. And I will see you back here on Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye-bye.